Welcome to my shop. So today I'm going to try and show my process for making this little offset duck. This particular one's got a magnet on here for a needle case or needle holder or pins and stuff for a seamstress or anybody that does stitching work. And the object today is to make a little duck body with feathers, tail feathers. Typically it was a little tough to make the tail feathers show up like this, but I think I found a way to do it consistently, and that's what I'm hopefully going to show us today. So this block of wood is nominally 2 inches square by 3 or 4 inches long. The dimensions are not critical. They can be whatever material you have handy. And so we'll turn it to round. I've got just a little bit of a flat there, but it's round to here, so I'll take it down just that little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to try and decide where the base of the duck's going to be, probably about here. And then the body of the duck will be about there. And I'm hoping that the feathers will be about there. I notice there's a bit of a check in the wood here. That may or may not go away. And looking at the check here, I know that'll go away if I offset it, so I'm going to turn this block around. And I'm going to use this side as the bottom, and this side with this check on here, it's going to go away. It doesn't go too deep. It'll go away when I do the off center, as long as I make sure that I offset it to the right size. So like I said before, I'm going to probably put the chuck body, base of the body will be here. Top of the body will be here, and I'm hoping that the wings will be somewhere about here. So all this will go away. Okay, so now the next step in making the duck is to do the offset. And because I know I've got some checks in the wood on this side, so I want to make sure that I offset it this way so that wood will disappear. and I'm going about 10 millimeters off center. So what I've done is I'm just going to use the marks from the step drive as the offset, and I'm going to grab one there, and I'll do the same on this side. Put the center in the offset, and now this piece of wood here where all these cracks are is in the waste wood, so that's all going to disappear. Now, for some reason, I think I need to, well, that should be, looks a little crooked in there, but, well, we'll just go with it and see what happens. As long as I'm not touching the tool rest, it should be fine. And we'll slow the lathe down and bring the speed up slowly. I think I may have interrupted, or what I need to do to maintain this on this axis is I got to put a tenon on this end that I can grab with a chuck, because I'll need to be able to grab this with a chuck when I want to finish the head off. I've got about halfway around. Take it down a little more. That's almost got it. So I'm doing some practice cuts here because I want the tail feathers to be down here, but I'm wanting to get the practice cuts here so that I can be comfortable with how I'm entering the wood, and I'll just keep taking this down until the wings are about here. But I want to keep doing the practice cut so I get the arc right. So there's what happens a lot of times is you go in incorrectly and they chip out. But we're going to be able to salvage that because I can come back from my next step is to put this back on centers, and I can fix the wings up then. I think I'll take it down just a bit more, and then I'll go back on center. Okay, I think I have it dished out the way I want it, and I don't want to take it down any deeper on the inside, but I want to fix this this tear out here. So the way I found to fix the tear out is I'll go back between centers and do the outside of the tail feathers. And we'll back on center. And back on center here. And that's back on the original center. So this portion is now spinning on the original center, and I can take the outside of the wings down on the original center. And I'll see what happens there. Okay, so now I think I've got this down to where I want it here. I'm going to go back into the chuck and I'll take this, finish building the head and the neck. So I can leave the tailstock up for just a little bit of support, nothing, no pressure, just a little bit of support for when I get up here. And then when I get close to taking the head off, then the tailstock won't be needed anyhow. And then once I got the head shaped the way I wanted, then I'll come in and part off the duck. And I want to take this neck down probably at least another 1/4 of an inch. But I don't ever want to touch the wings again. Okay, and because these are flopping around off center quite a bit, I got to do a little bit of sanding by hand, and I'm wondering if I should just come down and take this a little bit more off center. This is where it can get exciting. If I'm going to make a mistake, this is where I'll make the mistake. I don't want to touch the outside edge, I only want to touch the inside edge. So I'm going to come in and try and ride the bevel and just take this part off without touching these feathers. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to blend this in right at the joint, so I can do a little bit of hand sanding there. Because I basically have a feather edge right at the very edge here, and I don't want a feather edge, it's too fragile. So I can take some 120 grit sandpaper here and just kind of clean that up a little bit. A little bit of hand sanding, and this will be should be a finished product. And I'll make a little beak for it later. But so far I'm pleased with the way this has turned out, and now my task is to part this off while it's still on the off center. So there you have it, one little duck. And it's got nice little tail feathers. And so I'll be able to drill this and put a magnet in there so they can hold their pins and needles. And what I'm going to do on these ones now is I'm also going to drill out the bottom and put a magnet in the bottom. So if they happen to drop a needle on the floor or on their chair or whatever, or on some carpet, they can just use this to fit around and pick up their pins and needles. So it looks like my process is working. I have to get some more practice to get the tool presentation right, but so far I'm pretty pleased with it. So now I'm going to make the beak for the little duck. For this little duck, I put some magnets in here, and I put a magnet on the bottom, and the only thing left is to put a little beak on his face here. So that's what we'll do now. So I'm back at the chuck. Got a little stick of wood in my Talon jaws with the small jaws on it, #1 jaws, and tool of choice for making these little tiny parts is a skew. And with these little tiny parts like this, I don't want to drop them in my shavings or I'd never find it again. So all I do now is I just drill a little hole in here, stuck the beak in, and we'll call it a finished project. So thanks a lot for watching.